Welcome back, boys and girls, to the Spring Championship of the ESOC Tournament 2025. We have a juicy little episode for you today. We got some post-match interviews from the quarterfinal. We got some semi-final interviews looking ahead into their games. We've got Hazza, Phoenix, and Keita Boy, who I got an interview for. However, I could not get a hold of Frontline. It sucks being an Aussie trying to get in with you Americans. I know it just sometimes doesn't work out, but shout out to Frontline anyway. He did try, but yeah, our schedules didn't align. So without further ado, I'm going to jump straight into the interviews. I'll keep it short because the interviews are quite long, and I hope you enjoy. Hold on a minute. I just got way too excited. So first game we've got Hazza versus King of Osmane. Hazza won this one 4-0. We had an Italy mirror to start. You should see that one on screen for the next couple minutes throughout the interview. And that was a great match. Back and forth, but a bit of artillery micro won that one. We then went into France versus Spain. Hazza taken that one as well, obviously. Ethiopia, India, Hazza walking away with that. And the lame USA versus Brit, Scottish Highlander build to round out the series. And now we will jump into the interview. Hazza, welcome to the channel. Nice to meet you, mate.
Thank you. Likewise.
Look, I actually hadn't stumbled across you before this, and I have reached out. I think we were having a chat before to try getting an interview from you, but now that we're acquainted, it's so good to actually have you on here. And I didn't realize you were such a big name. So, as I said before, yeah, I did drop you a follow on that one. But congratulations! Holy shit! Semi-finals.
Yeah. It was a actually quite a clean run, surprisingly. I mean, I thought he'd take maybe a couple of games, but like I was in great form. I thought I'd make more mistakes, but it turns out the practice games I did were very
Dude,
good. So
dude, you were impeccable. I was just gonna glaze over this, but what a fucking path you've had to this like two comprehensive wins against two great opponents, and you're yet to even drop a match. So you're on fire. You're really doing well, and you took me by surprise a bit as well. I wasn't tipping you to do as well as you have done. Um, but yeah, you look great doing it, and I'm assuming you feel great too.
yeah, it felt pretty clean. But I'm still not to like the state I used to be in.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
quite. So I'm just trying to like fill that void between now and the semis or the finals, basically. So I'm hoping I can just nail that completely and then hopefully be fine for that. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah.
your profile on Liquipedia. There's a couple first places, but they were a while ago. You're looking to
Yeah.
reclaim the throne, or
Yeah. Just briefly, I think, because I'm not sure if I'd stay in like the competitive scene after it, if after this one, but we'll have to see. Because I mean, obviously, I do have a love for the game. Um, but to the point like I've got some like IRL stuff to sort out. So
of
it's just
course,
like
of course,
so
yeah,
it's just like
yeah,
I don't know if I'm gonna have as much free time as I do because currently I'm unemployed, hence why I signed up.
yeah, yeah.
But so I just thought it's a better way to use my time.
I mean,
So
unless World's Edge starts throwing us some money, so we can actually fund
well
people.
maybe,
Wink,
but
wink.
yeah,
um,
but I don't think you can make a living off being a
no,
pro at this game.
no,
So it's
definitely
like
not. Yeah,
yeah, so just during this brief downtime, I'm just gonna play and see, and then afterwards I'll probably dip for a bit and then come back after a while, like I usually do.
yeah. Win
So
another tournament, standard as you do. Look, well, let's go straight into it. So, game one was Italy. That was the mirror.
yeah,
You cheeky devils, just going for the mirror off the bat, and you know what? You flopped it out on the table with that one, didn't you?
yeah. Look, well, me and King of Osmond are actually great friends. Like we've known each other for probably about 10 plus years in this community.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, about 10 years. And to be honest, we had not coordinated that at all. We were just completely like
That was
when we picked it in like the
proper
sim picker.
banter.
Yeah. It was just like when we picked it in the sim picker, we were both just like, "Lol."
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
Well,
Neither of
look,
us expected that. So,
you looked incredible. You won most of the artillery micro. That's pretty much what sort of got you over that line. You took your
yeah,
fights that you knew you were going to win. Just standard, polished gameplay. It was good. Um, but game two, the France Spain game, that one was a bit conservative. Walk me through
yeah.
sort of what was doing there.
So I the matchup usually goes quite even, but like obviously I think it's harder to play as France because Rodelleros are quite hard to micro versus, and they counter both my cure and my goon, and they're faster than my almost as fast as my cure, so they can catch up with them quite quickly. So it's like, and with Spanish gold and two TPs, he can outmass me. But if I can take down those trading posts early, he won't have as much shipments for the or 330 coin that he gets for each shipment. So
Yep.
I had to slow down his XP curve.
Yep.
And then I decided afterwards to play like the late H3, which I think is where my army gets better. Like I think mid H3, Spain wins
Yeah.
because I haven't set up cav combat. I haven't got times 3 like counter infantry rifling for the rods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I haven't got those yet. So if I can get that set up before there's a proper engagement, I think France just has the edge.
Yeah.
So it
I
was all
agree.
about. So it's yeah, exactly. So it was all about delaying his tempo to get to that late H3 stage, and that's what my whole H2 was designed for. So
Yeah, you orchestrated it brilliantly. You did just enough to sort of keep him at bay without engaging until you built that Kermass up. You shipped your cab combat, and that's when you picked your fight, and that's when you sort of cleaned it. So it was good to watch. But looks skipping game three, but game four you completely lamed him, bro. What the?
it felt really filthy for sure.
Did you just
I
want
was
to
just
finish
like,
the series? Like, what was going on in your head there?
I don't know. I just it's a fun build to do. Like it's quite challenging to do, but like if you pull it off, it's just so rewarding. And like it just felt like I guess it was a good way to end the series. I didn't think I'd win with the Highlanders outright because I had like so much other stuff planned after the Highlanders. Excuse me. Um, so I thought he'd be able to hold the push, but obviously I'd get a good trade, and then I'd follow up with more stuff basically. So
He
that would
just
be
had
like the
enough.
seminal. Yeah, well, I mean, as soon as you take a trade like that, it's over
Yeah, exactly,
because it's
exactly.
like I can just kill the FB and get stagecoach behind and have the whole map. So it's like that that's a situation Brit do not want to be in. So yeah,
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 no,
that was a rough one for him.
you played that well. He gave up that TP line. I think it was over before the Blackwatch even walked up to the FB.
Well, the thing is, he can't kill my TPs because I have like I don't know if you saw, I trained the three gunslinger dudes at the start, the cowboy dudes,
Yep.
and that actually was kind of experimenting mid game because I didn't know how strong they were. I knew they were good, but I didn't know how strong they were. But their
OP.
charged ability does like 45 damage, so it's like it was just crazy. So I
The
was just like, they fire like 3 or 4 shots in quick succession, and each one does like 15 damage, I think.
yep.
So when you stack them up on each individual unit, it's 45 damage per unit. It's just like one shotting units, like with 3 of them. So I don't think he can start pikes to siege the TPs. So he
No,
starts muskets, which makes sense, but then they obviously siege slower. So I don't think he could have killed any. That's the problem.
I think there's a little bit of a problem right now with charged abilities.
Yes, absolutely.
It'd
Like
be nice to see
you,
something to sort of tone that back a bit. But who knows, right?
yeah. Yeah, well, it's just like the fact that these units that have charged abilities tend to be the same cost as regular units, or even less. Like this Pistoliers had 90 coin, so it's
What a
like,
joke, eh?
what? Yeah, like they have more DPS than the Musk, more speed than the Musk, have the charged ability, and they're only 90 gold, which is not hard for USA at all because you have the coin
Yeah,
trickles and stuff, right? So
yeah.
yeah, it was kind of a yeah, I don't know.
Bit lame. But moving on.
Yeah, a little bit. Mm.
How do you feel Kingu played into your game plan, if you even had one? We said before that you've been sort of zoning in. Um, Did you feel he sort of walked into what you set up for him pretty well?
Yeah, kinda, because I know how King plays, and he plays quite well conservatively, and he plays quite like skirm goony, and he does like the typical like eco semi FF into massing skirm goon as a traditional play style.
Yep.
Um, but to be honest, the first two games he actually played quite well. Like I think his strat was better in the first game. Like he had all the tempo. It's just he lost his colves to my colves, and that was
Yeah.
just a bit unfortunate. It's kind of just too swingy at that point. But if he traded even or won the Cold War, it's an entirely different game. So, but then again, he didn't have too much anti-cav for like the Papal Lancers I had.
Yeah.
So it's if I had six of them, then I think he would have got cleaned regardless. To be honest, I think I should have just shipped 12 skirm and then did like a second batch of Papal Lancers and cleaned him that way instead of artillery. But the one I did was safer and it just delayed him because forcing the artillery engagement slows down his push entirely. So it
Yeah.
was just a safer option.
Brings the tempo down for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
okay, so moving on to now your pre-match sort of interview. Um, how do you prepare for frontline, and what are you expecting from him?
Well, the thing is, both me and Frontline play pretty much 90% of the civs. So it's like preparing specific matchups only makes sense on maps where one civ is clearly the best, or two or three civs are clearly like the best on that map.
Yeah.
So, for example, on like on like Cascade range, you know it's gonna be like France, India, Russia, Aztec, Iro, that sort of thing. So you could practice for those four civs, but like on a TP map where it's decent hunts, it could be anything, like literally anything. Like we both play the African civs, we both play the legacy civs, we both play, well, I don't know if he plays much Italy, but he plays Malta and I play Italy, and then yeah, it's just that he can play pretty much every civ, so and so can I. So it's just I think as long as I um just have a solid game plan in each of the games, I think I'm gonna be fine. So it's all
Yeah,
about who plays better on the day.
I was just about to say, yeah, may the best man on the day win. It's always difficult, sort of coming up against people that have such a wide spread because you don't know, like, sort of what they're going to throw at you.
Yeah,
But it,
exactly.
it makes for a good game, though, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
just for not so much for myself, but for someone sort of just stepping into these videos now in the semi-finals, what type of player is frontline?
Um, he's he's always the it's hard to describe his play style, but he is quite aggressive typically. Um, but he's also very like methodical in his aggression. Like he's like calculated aggression, like he knows when to push, when to pull back, that sort of thing. Um, so it is quite in a tournament that's a very strong play style to have. Um, because obviously tournament nerves and stuff like that, you're more likely to make mistakes, and obviously calculated aggression is obviously very solid in that regard. Um, so I think he has good qualities to be getting late into the tournament. Um, but like obviously, I think me and Frontline kind of have similar play styles depending
Yeah.
on who our opponent is. Um, so it's just whoever does the play style better, I guess. But onto like the whole not being able to know what to practice. King actually said to me like he didn't know what to practice because he
Yeah.
obviously there's so many civs under my belt that he just it's a good thing to have in tournaments because I could pick literally anything. So
What
I did
makes you such a
digress a bit
good?
there. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. That's good. It's good. No, it's what makes you the player you are. The diversity, and that's why you're here where you are. Um,
Yeah,
and just sort of the
yeah.
last sort of question to wrap up. How do you want the other end of the bracket to play out for a potential final matchup? Yeah, it might be a silly question, but
No, no, I think it's a very good question. Actually, I think it's very good because I do think both of them are obviously well. They got to semis, but I before the tournament started, I knew they'd potentially get to the finals. So I think the semi-finals is what I expected from the start. So in a way, the brackets lined up perfectly. There was no upsets early on and stuff like that. I think this was what I expected. Um, Overall, I think Phoenix is better mechanically, but I think his knowledge of matchups can hold him back a little bit. And also his Civ pool, because I don't think, like, imagine a best of 9, right? He's got to
Yeah,
play 9 different Civs. I
yeah,
don't think he has 9 Civs potentially. He's got to obviously win with 5, so knowing 5, but like, is he going to win with each of those Civs is the question.
yeah, exactly.
Um, and then Boy has more of a Civ pool. I think Boy is probably stronger, but against each other, I don't know if Phoenix's playstyle counters him. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him play much, so but I think Phoenix has a shot in the best of 7, but in the best of 9, I'm not sure. So I think I'd be more um like it would be harder to play against Boy in my from my perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I think, look, they've both had pretty strong run-ins as well.
yes,
Phoenix 4-0'd Kevin. Where he dropped a game to Opti, but Opti's like not really a slouch, so I can't really um, ping him for that. But on the flip side, Boy 4-0'd Ungers, and Ungers is
yeah,
he's been
that was
here
the
forever. That surprised me. I thought we were gonna see a 4-2 or something, but yeah, there was so many 4-0s and 4-1s last round. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a 4-3 either way, actually, which
Yeah,
surprised me. I think game one, Ungus threw it completely, so that kind of just set the tone for the series. I think he was just on the back foot from there on out. Because if you lose game one, that means you have to first pick on the no TP map, and then you can just counter on the non TP. And then like on the second map, you can just pick a Civ that doesn't have many counters, right?
yeah, of
Like you can
course.
pick like
Yeah,
France or Olo or whatever.
and
And
it's
then on the non TP, sorry, go on.
yeah. I was just saying it's weird how like a lot of these 4-0s that have happened over the last two rounds. It is a very much of a mental game, you know. You go that 2-0 down
Yeah.
and you start tilting and things don't start going your way. You start end up doing dumb shit.
Mm.
And it's funny how things can snowball even at the highest level. Like you just sort of people are struggling to keep their
Yeah,
cool and recompose.
yeah, and I do have like one critical thing that the map pool. I think the non TP on the third map is kind of rough for whoever lost the first game because it means they have to first pick there. And on non TP, the sort of non TP civs all sort of counter each other. So like if you pick India, you can counter it with like Ethiopia. If you pick Ethiopia, you pick Brits, like counter pick with Brits. If you pick Brits, you sort of counter pick with like Aztecs. It's just yeah, they all sort of count or Brit or Russia. So like they all sort of it's like a cycle
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's like whoever goes into game three counter picking the other is just usually going to be up 3-0. That's
yeah,
unless that's just generally how it goes with how this map pool's happened.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's what we've seen.
So that's my one critique with the map pool. I do love the maps that are in the map pool. I think they're really really good, diverse, and we see a lot of different civs. Like we see like our Russias and Indias now, which are not considered good civs anymore. So it is good to see. Um, but I think the in terms of the order is where I'd question it. But besides that, I think it's very well done. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, look, Hazza, look, thanks for your time. What an interview it's
No worries,
been.
man.
I appreciate. I know it's early in the morning for you. It's hard to do these things as an Aussie, trying to
I
sort
was
of
gonna
coordinate
say,
times
yeah,
with everyone, and being annoying and trying to chase people down. But look, as I said, thank you again for your time, and I'll put your Twitch in the description as well, so people can follow you.
cheers. Yeah, no worries. I know the struggle. I lived in Australia for like 7 months, so I know trying to contact people from like Europe and stuff is
Oh,
a
mate,
pain. So
even trying to get up and watch the football, it's just a nightmare.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So,
yeah, I know the feeling.
yeah, look, anyway, thank you very much. That's Hazza, guys. Have a good one, mate.
Cheers, thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Righto, so into the second game, we had Phoenix versus Optimus. Phoenix took this one 5-1, which was pretty surprising. I was expecting a little bit of a closer game. But look, all the games were pretty close. But yeah, Phoenix's class just shining a bit too bright for little old Opti. First game was Germany versus Spain, which Phoenix won. Second game, we had France versus Ottoman. Third game was India versus Russia. We had some brilliant llama micro in this game. For anyone interested, go watch the VOD. Absolutely hilarious just watching Cossacks struggle to find their way around llamas. We then had Spain versus Brit, which was quite a good game as well. Some great villager pulls from Optimus to take his first game away from Phoenix. But I think the momentum Phoenix got on was too much as he took the last game with Ottoman against Optimus's Germany. And let's jump into the interview so you can see what he had to say. Little bit of a disclaimer, the first couple of minutes of this interview was lost, unfortunately, so we'll be starting as talking from game 3 onwards. Sorry guys. Yeah, so look, it ended up being a good win for you there. Took you to 2-0. Game 3, I reckon, was one of my favourite games where you played India into his Russia, and honestly the funniest thing, the llama block on the villagers. That was actually elite, bro. I was sitting there clapping.
Yeah, I guess like I didn't really have that much units. I guess I just had to rely on like buying time, letting my TC and Agra fire at his units. Like I think he really did a good he really did a good build order there. Like his timing was really scary. I didn't have like the right units or the right amount of units either to counter what he did. Like I was fully idled. Yeah, that was like a really bad start for me, but the Agra shots, the llama wall in, bought me just enough time to like kill his units up and just hold and age up from there.
Yeah, as I said, the llamas was like 300 IQ play. I couldn't believe that. You definitely won the game with micro under your TC there, but surely you were laughing there, sitting there doing the llama block.
Yeah, could have done it a little bit better. Like I guess if I split them like even more, maybe that would buy me way more time than it did. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Kaiser Klein was saying we should be able to kill livestock after that one.
Yeah, like in Age of Empires 4, yeah.
Yeah. This takes me to game 4. That was probably my second favourite one. You did lose that one. Opti was crazy aggressive, man, just pulling vills all the way down the map. Like I guess he had you under the pump, but yeah, he didn't give you a second to breathe there at all. Can you sort of like, how'd you end up in that position? Was it just Brit doing Brit things?
Yeah. Like game 4 was actually pretty tough. Like his build order again was really great. He had like a really good massive units, but then again I was really greedy that game too. Like I think I built maybe 2 trading posts with the 700 wheel. I think like either one or two. I'm not sure. I also got the native, so I was like really playing greedy there. So I didn't really have to push there. Like I could have just shipped Spanish gold first, played more patience overall, and I guess that could have went way better for me. But yeah, like I pushed even before I got my veteran mask. So
Yeah.
the fight also like happened before vet mask got in. So yeah, I just got cleared. His field pool was also great. So yeah, for sure I lose that fight.
Yeah, like I think he Vill pulled with about 14 Vills, but he still had 30 Vills. Like Brit is just ridiculous for being able to do that. So he's got 30 Vills still gathering while he's got 15 in a Vill pool. Yeah, it was a great work by Opti.
Yeah, the plan's pretty good anyways. Like yeah, he booms at start, but like after 10 minutes, it won't really matter how much eco he has because like the hounds will just run out. So he really made a good use of just pulling the wheels. Like they wouldn't be gathering there anymore. So it's better to just use them in a fight, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And these are those 200 IQ plays that you love to see when you get to this stage of the tournament in the quarterfinals. We really start seeing the high IQ players, and it was good to watch. But yeah, going on to game 5, the tower rush. Were you expecting a tower rush there?
I was not, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I think I wasn't really focused. Like, I should have expected something like that. Like, it's clear he's not making a trading post. He should be doing some aggressive play. But yeah, I think I wasn't really focused there. Like, my scouting wasn't good either. So, but like, I wasn't like afraid of him tower rushing still. Like, I'd like him. I'd like him like playing outside of his base than playing defensive inside of his base with the minisman and everything. Like, if he tower rushes me, I just already got my chance. I got my 3 dailies. I got my explorer to snare. So, and you know, like Muskus in general does very good versus both bikes. So
Yeah, those delis were men of the match, I think.
yeah, yeah, they just got his army and yeah, like he probably missed some batches there too. Not sure. I think he probably like missed some batches. He could have gotten some more bow bike there before that fight. But
Yeah, he came in with
basically-
4 pike, I think, on his 3rd batch, I believe, or 2nd batch after his 8 bow shipment came in. Yeah, it was he backed it up with 4 pike.
Yeah, I think his expo wasn't present there either. Like,
No,
not
yeah.
if it was dead or what, but like having explorer there, tanking, like snaring the units as well, it would make a huge difference for him. But yeah, he didn't have him there.
Yeah, so that brings us to the end of the interview, the post game, and for the semi-finals, we're doing a bit of a extra sort of segment, a pre-match sort of interview. Keita Boy, how do you feel about Keita Boy? He's been playing some really solid games, and he's looking really strong. He's struggling to see a weak point in his game. Have you sort of thought about anything you're going to do, or anything you're going to play differently against him?
Well, definitely he's one of the best players in the game at the moment, but I'm pretty confident about taking the win now. I practiced well enough, so I kind of know what I should do to win these games.
Yeah.
And that's about pretty.
Yeah, he's got a pretty big civ pool, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out. I think I'll be rooting for you, mate. I'll be in your corner. And a little bit of a fun one is, how do you want the other end of the bracket to play out for a potential final match-up if we can get past Keita Boy?
Can you repeat?
Sorry, yeah, no, that's all right. So how do you want the other side of the bracket to sort of play out for you in a final rematch? So frontline versus Hazza.
Like my favorite. Like,
No. So if you beat Keita Boy, you get to the final. Who would you want to verse in the final? Who's your preference?
Probably Hazza. Like frontline is great. Like I feel like I struggle versus frontline more than I do versus Hazza. So I'd like to play versus Hazza more than frontline, to be honest.
Yeah. No. Look. They're all going to be hard matches though. Best of 9 is going to be really like testing your sort of civ pool and your civ knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, look.
I've been a Brit mod for quite a long time, but yeah, lately I've been practicing a lot of civs, so getting ready for that large civ pool now.
It's funny because I've spoken to people in Discord have said that you are a Brit bot and you're not very strong in your other civ picks, so I want to see you prove them wrong.
Well, as long as you're like, it's like you've got good mechanics, you've got like good understanding of the game.
Yeah.
Even if you're not in one civ, but like you know the game enough and everything. Like you just quickly be able to learn all the other steps. So
Yeah.
not really a big issue.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, that's probably going to conclude it for now. I think I've taken up enough of your time, but thank you, Phoenix, for your time. And it's been a pleasure to meet with you and speak with you. And look, I hope I see you in the comments section in the video, and good luck in the next round.
Yeah, thank you. Been a pleasure as well. Thank you.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. So this game was another whitewash. I gotta say, there was a few more of these than I expected. The opening game was a cracker. We had Keita Boy turtling up really hard and managed to hold off Unga's Lakota. Really frustrated him, I think, but took the first game 1-0. The second game, he had him as Otto, playing into Unga's German. The third game, one of my favourites of the series, was Keita Boy's Brit, holding a lot of early pushes from Unga's Hazza. And the last game was Keita Boy with his French against Unga's Mexico. And let's go into the interview. But just before we start, I find it so funny. Every single player that I've reached out to, we speak in AOE taunts. It's just fucking classic, man. We're such nerds. Congratulations, Keita Boy.
Yeah. Thank you.
It is a lot easier. 11 versus what? 3 words?
It's 15:22 for me right now, like 3 p.m.
15:22. Yeah. Okay. So have you just finished work?
I just came back. I was a bit late because, well, I can't always expect to come exactly
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah.
expect to.
Yeah, of course. Look, let's dive straight in. I've already said my congratulations, but congratulations again.
Thank you.
Through to the semi-final, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Big name in the AOE 3 community. I'm not sure if you know who I am or if you've been keeping track of what I've been doing, but I've just been sort of trying to do some reviews and roundups and try to make this as much of a sporting event as we can.
I've seen that recently.
Yeah, thank you for your support and thanks for coming on today. So let's jump straight in. Look, what a path to the semi-final. You've had 2
Exactly.
big wins. Carbone, look, Carbone, you can say what you want, but he had a pretty good tournament. He knocked out some pretty big names early. I think he knew what was coming for him, but look, hats off to him for 4-0 Carbone, but Unga's was the big one. I don't know if anyone was expecting a 4-0. He's a good player, man. He won Kings of the Old World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a very good player, actually. Yeah.
So
But
sorry, go on.
So yeah, I mean, no one really expected a 4-0. I was kind of the favorite, I would say, but I also expected like a very close series, like I don't know, 4-2, 4-3 maybe. I haven't expected maybe to lose, maybe like he could be in a better shape than I was that day, but turned out I was in a better shape, so it happened to be a 4-0.
Yeah, and you know what? I do find it crazy where it's so dynamic where you can just be the better person on the day and just completely clean someone no matter how good they are. It makes for interesting viewing, I guess, but I would have preferred a 4-3. But yeah, I did expect him to take a game off you, but yeah, impressive stuff, and I think you're quickly becoming one of my favorites to watch.
You mean game style wise, or?
Yeah, game style. Yeah, correct. Super good micro. And look, we'll move on to the first question, but how do you feel that Unga's played into your game plan? Did you have one? Did you sort of study how he plays? I guess you've played against him before.
Actually, we've basically never played each other before this tournament. Like, we played each other one game in ladder. It was like I was on a Smurf account, and it was like 2 a.m. It was just a ladder chill game,
Yeah.
so it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
But basically, we've never played each other, and so this was our first time playing each other. So
What a good stage to do it on, the quarterfinals.
yeah.
So game 1, there was technical difficulties. I couldn't catch that one. But if we go into game 2, that was Ottoman. You played Otto versus Germany, and
Yeah, exactly.
bit of a weird one, the Ulan Mass early. I thought that was a bit weird going into Otto. Did you feel the same way?
I actually expected him to play quite aggressive in H2. That's why I didn't try to engage any fights because, well, I had to be patient, you know, drag the game as much as I can, and I knew that's where I am the most comfortable, you know, dragging the game,
Yeah.
and it worked. He had a lot of Uran. He could have finished me, but he didn't because he was scared of TC Fire, Minuteman,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all the rest.
Yeah, and I think one of the highlights for me was the frigate pop taking out the falconet there with the big button. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got control of the water, and I think that sort of just kept your eco sort of chugging along and allowed you to sort of keep massing, and it was uncontested really. So yeah, that was a pretty straightforward win for you once you sort of had your head above the water there, figure of speech and literally. But game 3, that one was a really good watch. I was a France main, but I'm maining Brit now, so watching you hold that was super fun. Great early holds, the shipment timings, the veil pulls, and he just ran out of steam. Well, talk me through that one.
Yeah, it was a tough game for sure, because the Civ he was playing, like, he was containing me. He was quite aggressive with his early cast, so I couldn't really expand my eco, like make manors everywhere. So I just did like one on the bottom left corner and one to the right corner, so I could like have line of sight there. And then I just sat in base. I knew he would be coming to me. The rest was just me and my defense, and it worked. So I won the game like that.
Yeah, it was definitely a defensive opening, the wall segment above the mine. But you created a nice choke for yourself to hold. It was pretty good base building from you there, and yeah, ultimately led to the win. He just sort of ran out of steam there. Great micro as well.
Thank you.
And we saved the best for last in game 4. Walk me through game 4. France versus Mexico. That's your main civ, I believe.
It's definitely one of my main civs. Well, people think I'm a France and Germany main because, well, that's like 60% of my civ on the ladder, but they are not my main civ actually. I just play them because they are very solid picks in ladder. You know, they don't have many bad matchups.
Yeah.
You know? So I can't really like. Yeah, let's say Japan is my main civ. You know, it used to be, and it still is,
Back
but
in
they
Tad.
just are unplayable on ladder.
Yeah.
Just can't play them.
You have to play the game for what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, look, you gave up the TP line in that game. He got a stagecoach up, had you contained there. You got to age 3. You got you sort of got your Falcons out. You made the push, took down his FB, and then he pushed back. What were you thinking when he sort of pushed back, had that sort of spike in score? Did you know it was coming?
You mean the stage coach?
No. So when there was a bit of a jump in the score there. You sort of pushed him with your 2 Falcons, and then he's come back at you with 2 Falcons. Ultimately, he gave those up for free. He lost those really early in that last fight, which probably cost him the game. But walk me through sort of what you were thinking during that Mexico game, the back and forth for the mid map.
I think his age up wasn't really a threat for me because the longer the game goes, the better unit I get and the worse his unit gets. Like Curaçao in mass with Gun behind, they are just better than Mexico units, you know what I mean? And I was quite comfortable, like when I saw him aging, I was like, wow, the game is going longer, the better for me. So I was like playing quite passive. If you notice, like I even dragged 10 CDV to the mid gold mine in case he tried to take a fight. Well, they would tank so much and I would win the fight, and you know, I was like in the perfect position there. I don't know what he could have done otherwise, but
yeah, you got your Cav Cuirass in as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then you had a really nice choke point at the end there, which sort of sealed the deal for you, sealed the series for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it. 4-0. Now, the 10 Jaeger shipment. It's not what I see in a French deck all the time. What? Yeah. Why the 10 Jaeger shipment? What?
Honestly,
Go on. Sorry.
of instead of that shipment, I usually have a fort, but before, like when I saw his pick, I just changed my 1v1 deck. I removed the fort. I was like, there is no way I'm gonna put a fort in this matchup on this map. So I just put 10 Jaeger. I was like, there's not that much food. Imagine I'm out of food, I have a
Yeah.
lot of coin. I could switch to a 10 Jaeger shipment with 1000 coin.
And they were
I just
clutch, man.
put it in. Well, they were very helpful, but I don't think they were that clutch. I mean, without the Jaeger, just my calf mass was enough to seal the deal, I would say.
Yeah. Look, they got plenty of work done, but
Yeah.
yeah. Look, moving forward from here, your next opponent is, I believe. Jeez, Phoenix. That's right. I just interviewed Phoenix. My apologies. It's a bit late for me. But Phoenix, yeah, I've just had a chat with Phoenix. How are you feeling about that one? How are you looking to prepare for that?
Honestly, it's gonna be tougher than our last previous matches, and he probably knows that too. I'm just hoping we're gonna have a good series and a fun one, a close one, hopefully, because until now it was only like 4-1, 4-0, like from the round of 16 to now, you know.
Yep.
So I'm wishing for a close series, and I'm actually feeling good. I also had this feeling against Angers, like I had a good feeling. Sometimes I have a bad feeling, but just I don't know, for this tournament I'm just feeling good for some reason. Just you know,
You're on a
just
roll.
a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And
I'm hope.
go
Yeah,
on.
sorry.
You go, you go.
Uh, it, I was about to say, the spider tingling.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I
The
call it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The spidey sense is tingling.
Exactly.
um, yeah, look. So, how would you describe? Just a bit of a random question, but I've asked it before,
Yeah.
and it's just for someone coming in now, watching the ESOC tournament from the semi-finals now. How would you describe what type of player Phoenix is? I've had like a couple people have called him a one-trick pony with Brit, but I don't think that's the case. But yeah, how would you describe Phoenix as a player?
Uh, in one word or like in a sentence?
Give me a sentence.
Mm, I would say he's an aggressive player. Very aggressive actually. Might be the most aggressive player in this tourney. Uh, Otherwise, I disagree that he's a one-trick pony, but everyone knows that he's not known for having the most Sith pull in his
Yeah,
hands.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, it's a between them. He's not a one-trick pony, but he's not like 22 Sith pull
yeah,
player.
of course, of
He's a in
course.
between.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Still got brilliant game knowledge, and look, he's number 2 on the ladder for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And this leads me to the final question. How do you want the other side of the bracket to play out for you for a potential final matchup if we can get past Phoenix?
I'm hoping Hazza wins because first he's my friend, so I'm hoping he wins. And since I've already played like frontline last tourney in a final, I don't want to do it again. I would want like Hazza since he's the better player, and this would be a historical final, you know.
Yeah, that was the Winter
Yeah,
Championship, wasn't it? You lost to Frontline.
yeah, exactly.
Look, I think you could do one better. There's a lot of people that are really liking the shape that you're in and thinking that you're going to take the tournament. So look, on that note, I will try not to give you commentator's curse, but good luck in the
Thank you so
semi-final.
much.
And yeah, look, I'll be rooting for you. And
Thank you.
I'll let you know when the video's out, and yeah, share it amongst your friends, and hopefully we can get some good viewership. So that brings us to the final series of the quarterfinals. Now, this one started similarly to the way that Boy versus Ungers did. Sorry for the pause. So it was a Mountain Warrior start. And there's a lot of big treasures on that map. And both of the players, but we'll focus more on Izad here, but sorry, Frontline. Frontline really capitalized and held Japan down, and really, Izad just couldn't take fights when he needed to take them, and ultimately lost to a Lakota Mass in Age 3, which cost him the game. Age 2, that was the Haudenosaunee versus Ports, and look, that was another cracking game, and I think Izad just overcommitted to take the water and hold the water down, and just didn't really get enough of a landmass to defend Howd's push. So game 3 was an India mirror. I always love these mirrors so much because it really, like, there's nothing to separate the two players. They have the same deck of cards theoretically, and it's an even playing field, and it really is a show of micro and skill. So this one was the battle of the elephants. Back and forth, back and forth. Izad took the middle map early and fought frontline the majority of the game in Age 4 compared to an Age 3. But the micro was impeccable, and he clawed his way into the game, ran Izad around the map, took better fights, and he ultimately won the game by taking a town center down alongside 30 villagers in it. And wow, what a game. Leads us into game 4. This was Izad's first win. Look, I think he just took better trades early with cheaper units. As soon as Germany got into Age 3, it was just sort of over. He ran out of hunts and overwhelmed Frontline's French. And the final game of the series was Ottoman versus Izad's Spain. The old reliable Jan Rush took early villages, just idled early and really just pushed him into his town center, and ultimately won the game through the old reliable Jan Rush. Now we'll be moving on to some predictions. Righto, so we've only got 2 games as we head into the semi-finals, and I'm going to go for Hazza taking Frontline, and I'm going to go for the upset here with Boy taking out Phoenix, and we'll see Hazza and Boy in the final. And that is the end of the show. Thank you everyone for sticking around so long. Look, I've got a little play of the week for you. Good luck to everyone playing on the weekend, and I hope to see every single one of you watching the games and giving us as much viewership as possible, because realistically this isn't possible without the audience. Without further ado, let's head into play of the week.
Guns as well. 2 Falconets coming out for Germany, but the frigate is out, and the frigate is now going to not only guarantee one for Otto, he's gonna use the big button. Ooh, gonna use it on the... Yes, he is finally good. Oh my god, a Falconet! And now the Abus aren't scared to right-click the other Falconet right here. There we go. He should be focusing that Falconet.
Oh, but
Okay,
the one's
Falconet
coming
is
in.
going down.
Wait. Oh, but the frigate will save the day, I guess.
Yeah, the frigate is just going to allow the Abus to go back.
I think he could have cleaned this up if he just kept his Falconets alive instead of deleting them to the frigate. Yeah, now it looks pretty good for Otto for sure.
Yeah, with that frigate support.
building empires from humble root. Every click it calls my name. Age of Empires ain't just a game. Counter rifles bring their regret. Cavalry rush, but I'm not done yet. My deck is stacked, my timing tight.